At LSF Forest Products in Fletcher, every log has a home.
We're sawing to order for the vast majority of the time that saw is running.
As sawmills go, this one is small, but it fills a big niche for local builders. Tucker Riggs owns the business.
We are a small softwood sawmill that primarily focuses on sawing timbers for the posted beam industry and rough cut dimensional lumber for homeowner and farmer and anybody else who needs to build something. In a sense, we are a custom mill. We don't saw for inventory. We don't just make a whole bunch of 1x6s to hope that somebody comes in and buys the 1x6s someday.
Even though most of the wood in the lumber yard is spoken for, what's here speaks volumes about the lumber business nowadays.
All in all, it has been crazy. In the last year and a half, it has been extremely busy. We really haven't been able to keep any inventory in stock, so it's been a challenge filling those orders for folks that would like to come in and pick up 4 2x4s. We just haven't been able to keep ahead of the demand to make that happen.
A booming housing market, along with shutdowns and shortages due to the pandemic, caused lumber prices to skyrocket. Earlier this year, prices hit an all-time high of $1,686 per 1,000 board feet, according to North Carolina State Extension. But in the last quarter of 2021, prices have seen a significant decrease, down to $710. Riggs hasn't experienced such drastic changes due to his business plan and personal values.
We were on about a 10%, 12% growth a year. And then last year, we saw significant growth, about a 60% jump in sales in that time, and just have been trying to navigate, how much we can take on. We've only increased our prices slightly, knowing that the vast majority of our customers are neighbors. We're making a living, making a profit, and we bring our prices up, but don't really drop them, and I don't feel like I need to, match Home Depot. We're really a different product.
Riggs raised prices during the last year due to demand and because he believes he should support the loggers who work the woods to keep him in business.
I raised our prices about 10% to compensate, for the additional revenue that we're bringing in, knowing that their cost of doing business has also increased. We are buying logs from our neighbors that are harvested by our neighbors, by loggers who live in this area. We're turning it into products, whether it be lumber for people to build with in this area in northwestern Vermont. It's truly a Vermont-centered business where the whole cycle is in Vermont.
As the business grew, Riggs knew he would need help to secure long-term success.
We were at a point where I was trying to figure out how to grow, where to grow. I had a pretty good grasp on our numbers as far as our production levels, our profit and loss statement, but I really didn't have, the level of understanding that I should have. We had built the business from a tiny little portable sawmill and needed to try to get some of that information down on paper.
Yeah, we should definitely meet and talk about that.
Riggs contacted Chris Lindgren, a forest business educator with UVM Extension's Forest Business.
Oftentimes your business can outgrow your ability to understand the implications of the accounting and the financials. So at a certain point, a lot of businesses, who come to me, that's where they're at. They're like, okay, we've grown, we're trying to understand where are we making profits, how can we grow most effectively more, how can we increase profits maybe without growing a whole lot.
The recent fluctuations in lumber markets are one reason why Lindgren advises clients to always be vigilant, regardless of market booms or busts.
It's fairly well known that growth can be as harmful and destructive to a business as lack of growth. When you have too much going on, if you can't manage growth appropriately, you can not be careful enough with your costs because it seems like there's plenty of money coming in, and then there's always lots of money going out as well, and is more going out than what is coming in. And it's been a good time for a lot of folks in the forest and wood products industry in Vermont. Demand for the smaller mills definitely spiked. Every small miller that I know has been busy, as they can work as much as they want. which is another important thing I work with businesses on, is you need to really understand where your costs are at so that you can make sure that you're charging the right amount of money for your product.
Riggs' reason for working with UVM Extension Forest Business is because they know his business.
UVM Extension put out information to us saying we are focused on the farm and the forest end of the industry, and we want to help you to make that sustainable. If you want to support your neighbors, if you want to see the area that you're living in succeed, then you really should support those who are supporting that way of life around you. And that's why I reached out to UVM Extension to get that help and to get that perspective to help us grow and to help us understand our business better.
The logs and lumber at LSF Forest Products that find their way into homes prove that Vermont is built on community support, expert advice, and hard work. In Fletcher, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.